Oh yes. What's happening, people? A couple of minutes while we get people on. A couple of minutes. We'll get a couple of minutes. Powerful Webinar 2.0. I am not a financial advisor. I have to say that from the start. Couple of minutes and we will begin. All right. Let's do it, people. Let's do it. If you can hear me well, please 5. 5 if you can hear me well. All right. Okay. I'm gonna put the comments of everybody up here so we can keep an eye on those. Remember to participate in the giveaway. You have to subscribe and comment. Subscribe to the exclusive content on YouTube. On Instagram. So in case you haven't done that, I'll just pick the winner at the end of the webinar. All right. Okay, let's do this, guys. Powerful Webinar 2.0. Yes, oh yes. We are going to talk about a lot of things. I'm going to try to be as precise as possible. We will talk about self-understanding, belief, and intuition. Okay, these are, in my opinion, and based on my experience and everything I've been through, self-understanding, believing in ourselves, and intuition are secrets. I don't know why people don't talk about these. And before I get started, I want to say I think just 2 very important things. There are people that, not everybody thinks the same. Obviously, right? Logically. Not everybody interprets information the same way as you might, as I might. And so when you hear somebody talking about trading, technically speaking, there are so many concepts that it's hard to say, and one shouldn't say this is the truth. this is the term that this concept is about, and the other thing is bullshit. That's not it. The science of trading is very simple in terms of its amount of information. You buy and sell. There's support, there's resistance, there's liquidity, there's volume, there is time involved, there is orders, there's, the science of it, and the technical things has a limit. It's there. It is what it is. The way you explain it and interpret it is infinite. So when I ever talk about technicals to whoever interprets things in a rational way and sort of almost too precise to what I say, know that you might be interpreting the information your own way, and obviously it's not the same thing that I'm saying. I hope everybody's following me. I hope I'm explaining myself. What I'm trying to say basically is there's no right or wrong. It is rather how your brain and how yourself understands better the information. However that is. If my information, if the way I see the market and think matches the way you think, or in other words, if you have more clarity, excellent. If not, what can I do? What can I say? Okay, so that being said, that's one of the things, right? Because I know there's gonna be a lot of people saying, well, that's not it. Like, this is, I read it was this, and so fine, yeah, you could have read something, and it's, you're also right. That's one thing. And the other thing is, before I get started, don't forget to subscribe to the Instagram exclusive content so that you can participate in the giveaway, which is a lifetime VIP membership to my Discord and my trading team that I've been growing. It's a small so far, but very powerful. I think we've got close to 20 people. It's not as small as I thought it would be, but we're a cool family. We're a cool team. We're growing, and yeah, if you want to join, subscribe. I'll give a free membership lifetime because I do charge for a subscription because my signals are pretty good. If you are in the Discord and you see them, they're not bad. There's a system that we're working and it's pretty cool. It's pretty good. So join if you want. Regardless, if you join and participate, this webinar is going to be nice. You're going to like it. Okay, so let's begin. And before I do, this whole YouTuber thing, this is not my vibe, but you know what, I have to do it because I don't know. Like, subscribe. All right, who we got in the chat? Safan, Muhammad. What is up, people? What's happening? Self-understanding, belief, and intuition. What does that have to do with trading? And why is it a truth or a hidden truth? Well, I don't know about you guys, but when I started trading, I didn't have a mentor. I didn't really have any friends to talk with trading about. And the information I was getting online was mainly technical. Of course, if you look for trading psychology or I think till this day, information is just too much. It's sort of very broad. And I don't know, I guess I'm just, I've reached different points in my trading journey that involved more of myself. It involved more work in my own self rather than trading as a science or as the task it is. And I used to think that I had to spend more time in trading to get better. I used to think that I had to read more or trade more to get more experience. And that's not necessarily true. And so when I talk about self-understanding, there's many approaches with which we can start talking about this. I'm just going to go with the flow and try to get it across as best as I can. The V shape is real. Yes, it is. Mateus. I'm going to try to get my points across as best as I can in the shortest amount of time because, I think less is more. But sometimes, I know we like to get deep and talk about these things. Self-understanding. So I've said this a few times, but I have to repeat it because that way not only I don't forget it, but you are also consciously knowing and choosing to think the same thing. Not because I say so, but it's because it's proven that trading is a mirror. Trading is a big mirror. And you're going to see yourself. You're going to learn about yourself. And the more you understand about yourself and who you are and why you are how you are, the better trader you become. Okay? The more you understand yourself, especially why you are who and how you are, the better trader you become. Why? That's quite a bold statement to say, but why? This is why I want to talk about this, because you may see this around the internet, you might hear certain people say it, but why? Why is it that when we understand who we are, where we come from, and understand why we are how we are, is it that we become a better? Isn't trading supposed to be just learning charts, learning patterns, learning strategies, going over them, making them work, and then spending hours and right? Isn't that it? It is. Of course it is. And this is why I started saying what I said in the beginning. I want to, clarify that for some people that think very rationally and they might misinterpret, or they might sort of bend what I'm saying and point fingers and say, "Oh, this guy is saying trading is not about, it's only about understanding the self, or like this whole spiritual nonsense, or this like philosophical point of view. What are you talking about? Like, trading is so simple. You just got to do this and like." Of course it is. Of course it is, I with no intentions come up here to say anything um with the idea or the mission to bring anybody's knowledge down, put mine above anybody's, or make you think that I'm an expert and that I know what I'm talking about 1,000%, because I don't. I'm constantly learning. I currently make mistakes myself. I revenge trade. I get pissed off sometimes. I I don't like to lose. I accept it. It's not easy because we're human, right? And that's one of the topics that I'm going to talk about today, which is losing. To lose. I'm going to write it down so I don't forget, but I make those mistakes. And I think because I'm human, it's almost unnatural for me to try not to make mistakes. You know what I mean? It's not, I don't think, because here's the thing. If we were to try and do that, we would have to work to not be ourselves. Because we're not, perfection isn't, we know this, nothing is perfect. What is perfect? Let's define perfect. Okay, and so the human being itself is not absolutely perfect. So if we expect to be perfect, that's gonna be a that's gonna be a long journey and a very frustrating one. So trying or thinking that we should avoid losing in trading, okay, thinking and trying to avoid losing in trading is a big trap. It's an obstacle, and it's a wall you're gonna hit, and it's a class, so to speak, that might take you a while to pass, because we come from a mindset, or rather, we were taught that losing is a negative thing. We associate it with a negative feeling, right? Because if we buy lunch at a restaurant and it falls to the ground, holy shit, I dropped my food, I don't have it anymore. That's a bummer. It cost me money, it cost me energy. I'm hungry, I can't eat anymore. So we lost. It's like, that's negative, isn't it? Right? We were in a relationship and we broke up for some reason. Holy crap, like, the woman I loved or the man I loved is not here anymore. Like, I just lost this. Like, what the hell? And on. I can give endless examples of how losing is a normal, quote unquote, normal thing to associate with a negative emotion. What happens in trading? If we approach trading, if we start trading with that normal mindset from, I don't know if to call it like from the system, but really from the normality that it is, we're gonna run into some issues, because clearly when we lose money, we associate it with anything that in our brains means to lose. And it's difficult not to separate it. Some people are better at it. Some people really don't care about losing, and that's actually I think that's a virtue. That's wonderful. If you really don't care that you lose, that's great, because you're not gonna revenge trade, you're not gonna overtrade, you're probably not gonna even think of your past trades. What I can say is it takes a while. It takes a while to sort of get used to thinking that trading is okay. Losing is okay, when it's really, like, in reality it's not also. So that's the thing, you have to balance it. And so it starts being a hidden truth, right? The fact that you have to separate that thought from being in the chart and trading to your normal life. I haven't read a book. I don't know if anybody does, send it over to me, of somebody telling you, like, listen, losing is okay in trading. In life is not, obviously, but here's the thing, there's a battle that you got to go through. Like, how do you do it? And I think that's where I've managed to, I guess, found a few things that that might help you. And really, that's why I think, um that's why I'm coming up here and wanting to do these little talks with you all. Okay, so understanding yourself is a key step to anything in life, but in trading, obviously, because we're talking about it, this is what we do. In order for you to control yourself more, you need to understand who you are. And that means just a few questions that you have to ask yourself. A few things I'm just gonna write out of, because I don't know anybody personally, right? But how were you raised? This means the ambient or the environment Environment. How do you spell? English is not my first language, guys. By the way, environment. You know what I mean. Environment. I'm just gonna write it to see if it autocorrects me. Okay, whatever. Environment, ambient, school, and so on. Um, how was our family? In other words, our parents. You know, did we have both figures present? You know what I mean? Or all of these things make up who we are. So, the father figure in a person, in a child's life, during their first years of life, the father figure is security and order, discipline. These are just a few of the things that the father figure is going to represent for a kid or for a brain, for a soul when it's young. And the mother is motivation, love. Not that the father doesn't love, but the mother is more loving, is caring, self belief. Okay, and so if there was ever an imbalance in between your father and your mother's relationship with you, let's say you got along better with your mother or better with your father, or one of them wasn't present too much, or you grew up maybe without a father, without a mother, for whatever reason, it wasn't your fault at all. This is nothing to feel bad about. This is this. We chose this before coming to Earth. We decided. If you don't believe this, it's also part of the things I was saying at the beginning. Some people might interpret things with a more rational way or way of thinking. However you interpret this, there are things that do affect the personality that we have today. There are things that affect the personality of a child and then develops beliefs. The reason why it creates who you are is because those events, that energy that represented the different years in your childhood life, they create think of it, it's information, external information that you're constantly absorbing, you're looking, you're feeling, you're hearing. And as you interpret this, you develop ideas, feelings, and beliefs, thoughts. And so if you logically grow up in a place where there was a lot of violence, or that the school you were in, you were getting bullied a lot, that was just your life. That was your normality, because you didn't see anything else but that, right? So obviously, if this type of upbringing you're gonna have quite a rough early years of your life. You're gonna probably be depressed for when you're a teenager, because you're like, what the fuck is going on? Like, is this life? This sucks. Like, I don't want to. I'm tired of getting bullied. I'm tired of having to defend myself in school and punch somebody or get punched. And just as this is one example, there's a complete opposite where you were probably brought up in a very rich family, for example. You had everything that you ever wanted, and you're not used to having to struggle for things. And maybe, you didn't learn to truly value hard work and dedication and what getting something meant. And so some of the, you might, not you, but just someone in general might be a bit arrogant and kind of, they don't really care what others feel, because it's just they always got everything easy, so, and it's not them. This is what I'm trying to go. It's not you, it's just that's the life you chose before coming here, and there's a mission you have, very, very, very much bigger. Anyway, I don't want to get too far with this. Someone says losing in trading, we need to see it like pay rent in a business. Absolutely. Losing will bring consciousness. Losing is not bad if you can take lessons out of it. Yes. That's it. So getting back into this, right? Understanding who we are today means answering certain questions like this one, like how were you raised? And if, for example, your father was probably maybe too rough on you, or you couldn't really do anything, and the discipline that was required of you was extreme, and you probably maybe thought of being a bit rebel, then certain things are gonna start molding yourself. If you didn't really have anybody taking care of you, so to speak, you're very independent. And so you're very self-controlled, probably, and maybe more calm than others. All these things, anxiety, it comes from somewhere. All these things that doctors say people have, or kids have, like attention disorders and stuff. I don't think that's anything, and I'm not a doctor here, don't get me wrong, and I'm just saying there's always a thought connected to things. There's an emotion, there's a belief. And when you start asking these questions, you heal. Okay? And this is basically one of the big missions, to heal. Heal ideas that you probably had that aren't helping you today. Heal maybe an emotion that you were having that is tied to a past that you didn't know. Letting go of the past itself is healing, right? If you any traumas that we might have had from when we were kids, we might still carry those in the present, and it will all affect obviously our trading, but in our everyday lives, our relationships, at work, with our partners, with our friends, and with ourselves. We might start avoiding ourselves because we might feel anxious or depressed and we don't know why. And it's okay to not understand why we feel how we feel, and it's not wrong. And so, but here's the thing: who do you talk to about this? Like, it's difficult to have friends that take the time to listen to how you feel, because what do they care? But anyway, so feeling like this, feeling lost a little, like why is it that I'm feeling like this? Like, what the hell is wrong with me? It's very likely, and I can almost say for certain that you just haven't answered a question within you. You haven't taken the time to reflect and put yourself in anybody's shoes, to heal someone, to heal yourself, to forgive someone, to forgive yourself, to really understand why the fuck, and I'm sorry I curse, I don't like to curse, but sometimes I think it gets the point across. Why are we who we are and how we are? But the reason to answer this question is precisely to change it and to program it. I'm gonna say that again. The power, really, guys, the powerful reason, the intentions with which you are consciously going to understand yourself is not just so you can like say, hey, FYI, I'm like this, so keep that in mind. No, it's not about anybody else. And it's not just about you like, why am I like that? Oh, okay, I see. All right, fuck it, let's go. No, you want to understand yourself, to program yourself, to heal things, because guess what? Society is upside down. the ideas that were implemented in our brains when we were kids, they are not updated. Seriously, there's a lot of things we should have been taught in school. There are a lot of ways that we should have been told certain things, but we were told differently. It wasn't our teacher's fault, it wasn't our parents' fault, it wasn't our whoever's fault, because they also went through that unfair manner of growing up. I believe, and I don't want to get too far out of the subject, but I think this starts happening when power overtakes love in the human's brain, and the need and want for more, greed, and these emotions and energies that are also hard to control. When they take over, then you yell at somebody, you're not you don't respect others and their rights, and so you tend to control, and you do anything just to get to your objective. And there's a lot of people like that in power today, and so unfortunately it's been anyway, coming back, healing. Why are we going to do this? Because to evolve anyway as a person, and precisely to become a better trader, you want to reprogram those beliefs and those ideas in your head, in your mind, in order to have more clarity. Okay, it all has a purpose. Okay, so you want clarity, you want to be in a calm state of mind, because that brings clarity. And I repeat, and I'll say it again as many times as I need to, I am no expert. I am not a mega master. I am consciously working on this myself. The only thing is, I'm coming up here and I'm just talking about it because if it's helping me, I think it might help someone else. Whether that's one or two people, I don't care. But everybody deserves to know whatever works for someone else, right? Okay, calm state of mind and clarity. This is not just for trading, guys. This is for anything in your life. You want to be relaxed. You want to be able to make a decision without having to think, fucking shit, I'm fighting with my wife, I'm fighting with my husband, I just lost as much, like my and now this is happening, and like what, and you will probably not make the best decision for whatever situation you're in. And how many people aren't stressed the fuck out from work, anything else, and and so because again, society is it's a jail, man. It's a fucking it is it's a jail. Okay, it's a prison. Sometimes their strategy or tactics correct, but market just goes the other way around. Yes, of course, you're not that's a technical and psychological thing that we can touch on. Calm state of mind and clarity. When you are relaxed and you're calm, you can interpret outside information better. You don't have inside noise. You don't have other feelings within you, because you've managed to separate what is in your control and what is not. If you are stressing about things that are out of your reach and out of your hands to control, realize you're doing that to yourself. You are suffering unnecessarily. I repeat, if you are stressing from things that are outside of yourself and you can't control, You are choosing consciously. You're deciding to say, fucking shit, what the hell is this? Why is that? Why is this? What? Man, when are you going to finish? Like, there's 24 hours in a day. There's 7 days a week. How long are you going to whine? How long are you going to choose to feel bad about something you can't control? Because, I mean, you could go on forever, but your life will be like that forever. And so we must work and try as our best to every day constantly be aware that we choose, we decide what affects us and what doesn't. And the things that truly should affect us is the ones inside of us that we can control. Okay, so if we are not making the right decisions in trading, yes, like look at yourself in the mirror and be like, what are you doing? What has to happen? What has to change? Not gonna lie, I make those mistakes. I repeat those mistakes, and I constantly work on myself. Calm state of mind and clarity. Okay, so losing, I think we've touched on that, but I'm still gonna leave it up right there, just hanging around. We want to heal, to be in a calm state of mind and clarity, because this will allow us to interpret the market and observe it and not react to it. Okay? Observe the market without reacting to it. This will fix a lot of people's and traders' nightmare of jumping into a trade too fast or getting stopped out a lot, because that clearly means you're not waiting for price to reach a specific point. You might be wrong about where that could be, but sometimes even if you don't know why exactly you traded and you won, most cases that really means that you entered at the right moment, regardless of, oh, it was at a key low, it was at a 4-hour low, it was at a high, it doesn't matter where it was. The point is you entered and you were in a drawdown and you won. So why was that? Really the only explanation besides all the technicals, or in other words, without thinking about all the technical reasons, the main reason is you got in at the right time, period. You got at the right moment. So a big step, a big stone, a big pillar of trading and making positive trades is the timing. When to enter. And that, by the way, starts touching the two other subjects that I wanted to talk about today, which is the belief and the intuition. Because there is a degree of self-belief and intuition in trading. And I know everybody has lived this. I know it's happened to a lot of you, that you are in a trade, you're winning, and something tells you, I'm going to close. I don't know. I don't feel this. It's like, and you close. You won. And literally like a minute later, it reverses and it would have stopped you out, or it went back to your entry and you said to yourself like, whoa, good thing I got out, right? This has happened to a lot. And I know, because it's happened to me, you don't know how many times in the past that I enter a trade, I'm winning, I don't close it, I get overconfident. I say to myself, believe in yourself, believe in your system, you have a projection, let it run. And then it flips, it reverses, it takes me out, whatever, and I get frustrated, right? So then I say to myself, like, what the fuck am I supposed to do then? That's an irony of trading. It's ironic. Are we supposed to believe in ourselves, or what the hell are we supposed to do? Should I close just simply because I'm winning all the time? And then another thing is, you close, and a second later, sometimes it really is a second later, but maybe not so fast, but like a minute later, it just takes off in your direction, and you're like, you're there, you're like looking at the chart like, you're in silent, like, what the fuck? And you say to yourself, like, how is this possible? Like, who knew? What the hell is, like, who was out there? Like, you know what I mean? And that's ironic. It is. But you know what happens? Here's the thing. Here's something very, like, look, because we're human and because we react to this information that we're seeing, we decide to allow it to make us feel something. You know what I'm saying? Let me say this again. Because we're human and because there are chemicals that interact in our brain and makes us feel certain things like serotonin, adrenaline, dopamine. What else do we have in our brains? Just those are a few, but those are the, when we're looking at the chart and we close a trade, we win, but the market then takes off in our favor. We're looking at that and we're clearly connecting that information with money because we understand that if we were still in the trade, that represents more money, and so we start feeling this, like, oh, no way, I'm missing that money, I lost that money. But you see why that's all you, like, it's all that interpretation. Instead of saying, okay, I closed, I won, oh shit, that's out. It's like, it's in, if I don't know how to say this, but like maybe we have to like get our eyes out of the chart and, like, I don't know, look at the amount of money we just got and say, fucking thank you, good, at least I got some money, right? That's much different. That's different. Like, the information you're going to feel when you see the money you won is going to be positive. It's not going to be anxious. It's not going to be that sort of negative feeling that you're getting that makes you want to trade more because you're like, oh shit, I'm missing on that move, I'm going to chase price again because I knew it was going to go that way. Well, yes and no, because at the same time, the market isn't absolutely true, right? It's, how did you know? Like, you didn't really know. Anything is possible. And that's ironic as well. And then you have to say to yourself, if you're going to think that, if you're going to think, oh, I knew it was going to go up, then you shouldn't get mad if you don't close and you end up losing. You know what I mean? So, that situation, that phenomenon, or whatever you want to call it, it's all in our heads. And the reason why it can be so challenging is because it goes against our natural instincts, the human mind's natural instincts of not wanting to miss on something, of feeling bad about losing an opportunity. It doesn't help that we were brought up in a system that they teach you that if you can't answer correctly an exam, you don't get a point and you're wrong. You know what I mean? And so you tend to just completely punish yourself when you make a mistake, because that's what happened when you were a kid. Anyway, show us some strategies. Says Jake. Of course, brother, I will. I'm talking about a few little things that are going to make those strategies actually work. But yes, Jake is the anchor bringing me a bit back into the charts. I know. I know, I'm aware. I am aware. Okay. Believe in intuition. So I was going to talk about believe in intuition, and the scenario I just put as an example of closing a trade and then price going your favor. I've come to realize that in the end, there is something about the human that's just really extraordinary, and that's the intuition. That feeling we get when we when we want to do something and we don't end up making a decision, and we're still alive. Not to, it's not crazy, I can't remember how many times, for example, I don't know, when I was in college or something, and then I get invited to a party or something, and I was, I just don't want to go. I don't know. I don't, not today. Don't get me wrong. I used to party my ass off and be out almost every Friday, every weekend. And there's just that one weekend I don't go out, and then I find out like a big ass crash happened, or somebody got shot, or I don't know, some crazy things. I'm like, holy crap, that would have been me, or I would have been there, But there was something in that's intuition. That's it. That's intuition. And it also comes when people talk to you. You kind of know they're lying or they're not, and so on. That sixth sense in trading. This is a powerful thing. And it is also a hidden truth because, yes, of course, there's algorithms. Yes, this is a very technical thing. Yes, it's a science. There's a process to it. There are variables. There's, technicals. There's indicators. At the same time, the intuition I know it has, and always will save your ass sometimes. Whether that is not executing a trade or actually executing a trade. Managing it, not managing it. If you make a mistake because you followed your intuition, don't think you're wrong. Don't think you have to stop doing that. That is something that will always help you. It's not perfect. It's not 100% right? It's not precise, because if not, we'd be wizards. Like literally, we would know what to do when and done it perfectly. But when you're in a trade, whether you're losing or winning, if really try to listen to yourself. And that's why we need clarity. That's why we need to be in a calm state of mind in order to really hear ourselves. So being silent when you're trading. If you trade with music, again, the rational thinkers, people that are like, oh, I listen with music. What are you saying? That's not fine, brother. Go ahead. Keep doing it. All I'm saying is, music is vibration, is energy, is sound. You're not focused 1,000%, whether you can or not. Try it. Don't believe me, just try it. Just be curious about it. What if you really trade in silent, complete, and you listen to yourself, and you're there, and execute what your mind is telling you? Just give it a try. If you make more winning trades, don't thank me. Don't be like, brother, I don't want that. I don't care. I'm saying what has helped me. And being in silence allows you to follow your intuition and hear your mind and hear that idea that you have. I know it's happened to you before, that you're trading, you're thinking about going in, you don't go in, there's like a and you think it's like a little devil, right? You think it's like, and you don't do it because you think that's gonna be the mistake. And then you see that if you had just done that, you would have won. Maybe you would have won a lot. And you're like, oh, that's interesting, right? Like, how did that? And that's your intuition screaming at you like, this is the moment, just take the trade. You didn't know why. You didn't know exactly why, but it was something telling you. That's your intuition. I know it's happened to you before. You're in the trade, you close, you get out, you win, and it flips. And you're like, wow, I got out on time. Like, what the hell was that? That's your intuition. It's nothing more. There's technicals, of course. There's like, oh, I reached a resistance. Well, I'm going to close. Guess what? Some people don't close. Some people ignore the technicals and themselves. It's happened to me. It's happened to me because I get greedy. The fuck? I want money. Everybody wants money. Anyway, intuition, belief. Believe in yourself, guys. People, believe. If you don't believe that you can, it's going to be harder. It's going to take longer. You'll have to repeat the same lesson over and over until you believe you're able to. And believing in yourself, it's a constant thing. Every day. It's not like, I believe in myself today. All right, cool, I believe. Now give me more. I believe now. Yeah, I believe. Of course. Yeah, I believe. But tomorrow, do you believe? Will you believe in a month? Will you believe when you lose? When you're fucking in the ground? I've lost a lot of money but I'm still believing. And that has kept me happy. I'm not a billionaire, I'm not a millionaire yet, but I am happy. And I am enjoying the little things. And I am choosing to believe that it's possible. And that's it. And that's going to help you. All right. 555 to start getting into the charts and to pick our winner, which I have been giving everybody all this time to subscribe to the exclusive content on Instagram so that I can pick your comment and you can qualify to have that lifetime VIP membership, etc., etc., etc. Any questions about psychology or anything that you want to talk about before we get into the charts? Very briefly though, because today's topic wasn't really about charts. But if Jake is still around, this one's for you, brother. Okay, so I want to go over a few of the concepts that I talk about in my Instagram and some of the behaviors that I like to see and make decisions with. Okay, and that is using this sessions indicator, and I pay a lot of attention to how each session is developing. From this correction to this rebound here, number one, New York is last. This was great. I'd like to see New York last. And before I start getting a bit of hate about this statement, look at New York being last after this correction and here. New York, by the way, is the yellow. I'm sorry I didn't clarify that. New York is color yellow. London is green. I think I have to... Why aren't the names showing up? Inputs. Was it? That's not inputs. Tables, values, and status. All right, let me see if I go to another chart, but it'll say it. New York, there it is. This one says it. That's funny that the other one didn't say it, but New York is yellow, London is purple, London is green, Tokyo is purple, Sydney is orange or pink. So look how New York is mostly and almost every time last to buy before the bottom of a correction. Over here, New York. Over here, New York and London. New York. This correction from April, New York was last over here. They attempted to retest their low. Asia managed to manipulate New York here, but this was their last low. So I'm not saying this to just I'm pointing out what I'm seeing. That's all, New York is last. New York is last. Like, how do you fucking explain this? Every time New York is last. Well, then fucking that's the statistics I'm saying, and I'm like, all right, there's a probability right there, right? So New York is last. Okay, let's go to the present moment. What do we see? New York was last here and here. So this correction took place. This is a 15-minute time frame, by the way, if you can't see it. And New York, when I see New York bouncing here and Sydney and Tokyo, they start buying, that to me, personally, is a signal. A lot of you might say something else that, I don't know, whatever other people think, but This, I'm pointing already to this area, and when I see price getting here and holding these lows, I'm already expecting a rebound. Not because it's easy and, oh, that's what happened then. I've sent signals about this. In my Discord and the VIP, like, New York, this is it. Buy, hold, do this. I put my take profits in my levels. I extend them. If I didn't believe the market was going to rebound, I wouldn't send a signal with an extended target above a previous high and targeting even higher highs in the past. I don't need to say anything else to prove that point, but New York was last here, so seeing Tokyo not wanting to trade against it, it's also key. New York is last to buy. I see Sydney and Tokyo following that momentum in both of these sessions. It's Monday. This is the breakout of the typical bear trap. This is a typical bear trap. All the sellers are selling this resistance because it broke that support. Broke, sell resistance. Well, yes, it's true, but it doesn't. When is it not true? In this example, when the market has reached the bottom, because New York is last to buy, and they bounced at a key price level also. If we go to this New York session, I've talked a lot about the midnight, the PM session in New York. What do I do with the PM session? I go 12 PM to 1. 12 to 1 right here. What is the high and the low between 12 and 1? That's the low. That's the high. I extend that in time and look at how that range behaves in the future. It is not a coincidence that New York and London bounced right at that price. And it's also not a coincidence that after all that spike up, it went right back to that price level when it corrected, with New York being last to buy in that range. Not only in the range, in the 50% of it, the bodies hold it. This is just what I've observed. I'm not saying that's it because I made it up. Fucking shit. No, it's just there. That's it. I'm just making a little cool video about it, and I'm showing people, like, hey, pay attention to the PM session. All right, well, I see New York bouncing in the PM session of that specific day. I'm like, holy shit, all right, this is going to take off at least, some point, at least to that resistance, right? At least to that support previously. Okay, so here we have, I also like to look at chart patterns. I also like to see the trend lines. That's a nice triangle. It's a funnel. When you see gold coming into a funnel like that, like close to a resistance, you can buy resistance. I'm going to repeat that. When you see gold bouncing, it corrected itself. It made a bottom. New York was last to buy. It starts coming up, and you see the price funneling, loading near a resistance. You can buy resistance. All the sellers are going to be trapped. You're going to get their loss. Okay, so that happened. What did I do this day? I remember in the Discord, I didn't say a thing. I stayed completely shocked at the fact that London was so bullish. I was like, what the hell is going to happen? Like, right now, New York could either just take off or reverse hard. And I remember this day, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to wait. It's key that today we let it close. And why? Because if this would have reversed, it would have been obviously completely different. But because it held, New York held, and it made a V shape at midday PM session. So they come and manipulate, they induce selling, and then they buy back. When you see price closing back above a support, so this range, right? This is the range. You see this? Let's see, we're not looking at what's happening there. When you start seeing that's the range, price comes out of the range, but it gets back inside it. You see, and it starts respecting that low again. It's back inside. That is your consolidation, manipulation, distribution power of 3, which comes from ICT, which is brilliant. Brilliant. I just say V-shape under a fucking support. That's it. That's all that's, based on that idea that the market consolidates, manipulates, and distributes. Yes, that's the logical thing that happens. That is what happens. I'm pointing out to the V-shape that my mind sees, and that's it. That's more or less how I developed my setup. But the idea is it's holding back inside that range. So the trend is bullish. We've already, again, join the dots that I'm telling you. Every time I'm making observations, it comes from a past behavior. It makes sense for that to be happening because New York bounced last at the PM session, blah, blah, blah. So now that's happening. Because that happened, this following day is very likely to be bullish because you have a rebound day, a breakout day. You should have a continuation, an expansion day, which was this one. And this is the session we traded. I sent a signal here to buy here and held up to somewhere around here. Now, what happens here? I've said also, Asia snitches. What does that mean? The minute Asia starts trending against the trend, it goes against it, it's signaling something. In this case, it was interesting, this big sell, but they held that support. But this was interesting with Sydney selling off and Tokyo not wanting to come back to the top. Had Tokyo traded back above Sydney's high, the trend would have still been bullish. Or rather, the probability of the trend to stay bullish was higher. Because Tokyo went against the trend and it didn't want to come back to the top, London and New York made that range of consolidation. And this following session, there was a manipulation of this consolidation and a strong distribution. And this is when Asia snitched on everything. They said, yep, we want to come down. So London naturally, logically, just consolidates a little bit. It starts sort of preparing and setting up New York. What is the logical thing to do on a bearish trend? A manipulation up to distribute down. The same thing that we saw on the opposite side of the curve. When markets were going up, the logical thing is for price to come down and bounce to expand higher. So you can do this with the sessions. Just study what each session is telling you. And what I've observed in gold is that Asia is the one that starts sort of triggering these corrections. Okay, and this was also a nice short trade we took. And we closed around here because we didn't know if this was going to be sort of another range of consolidation. And, because it's also possible. Again, this is where you don't want to be sort of just balling it and not caring for, your management. Like, you want to secure money because you don't know if this is going to just maybe sort of do this and return back here. And then maybe come back. You see, it's in the end. Sorry, and that's also one of the ironies of trading. Like we were talking about this. Like, what am I supposed to do? Should I just hold? Should I not? Well, that's sometimes that's so crazy. Look, the market is open right now. Huge gap. That's interesting. I talked about this with somebody, and right around here, you could expect. At least this gap to close, but whatever. I think this is going to target somewhere around here, these lows. Or make a double bottom there. I don't know. Okay, so I think I went over most of the criteria that I trade with. It's not all of it. It's not detailed into the 1 minute to the 5 minute. But this session's interpretation is really one of the things that will for sure give you a better timing of the market, in the market rather. Because now you know that should you hold the trade For example, right now, if you bought, should you be holding it? Because New York wasn't last, the probabilities of that trade to completely continue taking off are low, because it's been proven, it's there. New York, for some reason, almost every time is last to buy before a rebound. So right now, because Tokyo made that low and New York hasn't been last, just that to me would say be careful with a long trade, consider selling. Right? That's just one criteria you can start using. Okay. 1 hour into our webinar. I hope you liked it. I hope you've enjoyed it so far. I'm going to pick the winner the moment, I guess, some of you have been waiting for, and I appreciate whoever's been here this whole time. And if you have any questions, let me know. I'm gonna go to a little page that is gonna show me the comments over here, and it's gonna pick one. We're gonna do that quickly, and we're gonna do that. Where is it? Okay. Where is that website? I have like 5 tabs. Okay. Alright, I'll do it here with you guys. And let's put some music with this, yeah? Let's put some music. I'm going to also check if whoever the comment gets picked, if they are a subscriber of the exclusive Instagram content. It's $6. $6. Is that too much? Can somebody tell me if that's too much in the chat? Is that too much? $6 a month for a signal a week, analysis, my projections, you know, exclusive content. Is that too much? I think it's actually it's a gift. Music to my ears. Let's go to Metallica. Anybody likes Metallica? Nice. I'm gonna see the comments real quick on this post. Alright, 33 comments. Jake, yes. Instagram subscriptions. I'm going to be sending 1 signal per week. How do you determine the best entry and exit points when trading gold? I love that question, and I'm gonna answer it in a few minutes. Let's just find a winner first. A first winner, guys, because it's a lifetime VIP membership and a 2-hour private course. So before that, let's do a dice throwing game, not dice, coin toss, so that we pick the prices. Okay, so everybody in the chat, tell me what heads should be, the lifetime VIP or the 2-hour private course. Heads. Heads or tails? Heads. What do we assign heads? I want to make this as fair as possible. I have no preference for anybody. I'm not. It's all chances. Should we call heads lifetime VIP or the 2-hour private course? What do we do? A for private, a lifetime VIP membership. B, 2-hour private course. Heads. Alright, first answer, heads lifetime. That's it. Simple. Plain and simple. I'm not gonna go like who votes more. Okay, heads is lifetime. Tails is private course. Flip the coin. Tails. We are gonna do a first winner of the 2-hour private course. So we're gonna go back to this. Congratulations, here are the winners. Alright. Abdirahman. I am going to double check if Abdirahman is in the subscriptions. Let's see. I believe he is not. Are you on this? Are you watching this, by the way? Let's okay, well, he's not, so we have to do this again. You know what? I hope this doesn't get other comments from... Oh, I knew it. I think I'm gonna have to do this another way. Let's see. I'm just finding another website, guys. To answer the question about when to get an exit my trades, when I reach a goal that I'm aiming for, sometimes I target 5-minute previous highs or lows. I'll show you in a bit, but that's more or less. Just have a goal, like have a clear goal. Because that way you'll avoid to potentially hold the trade longer than you should, or closing early. Okay. Random common picker. Let's see. Number of winners. Yes. Submit. Let's see if this. Wow, are you kidding me? This is not working. These are the websites. Well, this is unexpected. Okay. Does anybody know a website that I can do this that doesn't charge me money? The last one I did, I only had one attempt that was free for some reason, and now I can't. Another thing we can do, I think, is list the winners. Just name them here. I think I can do that. I'm gonna write the names of who is. They're not many. 20 people. Let's see. I'm doing this. I'm sorry, guys. I can't. I wasn't expecting this to happen. Let's see. Let's put some vibey music. Let's put some vibey music. Yeah, man. Almost done. VZN, F80, I am Lucian, Dia Hassan, Irshan, Real Mister, two more, Ricardo and the Jewel Dude. Okay, so I think this is gonna work. Number of winners. Alright. What time frame do you recommend for a beginner in gold trading? 5 minute and 15 minute. 5 minute time frame and 15 minute time frame are like I think the cleanest ones. All of of them are important. Don't get me wrong. Don't be blinded to the 4 hour daily. They're very important, but stick to the 5 minute. Go in and out. All right. These are the contestants. These are all the people that are in the subscription. And before, I want to thank you for that, because it is a win-win. Obviously, it's a small fee. It represents an income for me, but it's irrelevant. This is for all of you. There's going to be so much value out of that small fee. It's a low cost. It's for people who can't really, I guess, who don't want to pay or can't pay the 3 months VIP. So here it is. Show random names. Sure. Add a theme color? No. Duration 3 seconds. I don't know what this means. Let's see how to do this. Pick a winner at random. Start. All right. Who is F80? Winner 1, winner 2. F80 and Tatiana. I'm gonna post this. You are all witnesses. Mateo, it was nice to meet you, brother. Boss forever. F80 is... I'll say it. Track. Stage 3. Some guys got a nice car. Alright, here it is. I'm gonna screen shit. And for a bonus, guys, if you're still around, I'm gonna do one more winner. One more winner. One more winner, because I want to give this one more thing. I'm gonna do one more for another 2-hour private course. Okay? Like, I want everybody to be winning. I like the music too. It's so suspenseful. Alright, I am going to copy all these names again in case this doesn't work the way I think it might work. So I'm now choosing one winner. I'm now going to pick only one winner. And I guess I'm going to click pick another winner. Yes, there it is. Okay, so pick a winner at random. Again, one more, guys. One more for a 2-hour private course. F80 is one of those. But I want somebody else to win also. I want one more. One more. Ready? Let's go. Dia Hassan. Yeah, man. Here is that one more winner for you. What risk management technique should I use specifically for gold trading? Matthews, I posted a video 2 days ago or 3 days ago that's actually called How to Choose Lot Size. And I sort of talk about some of the things you can do with your volume and risk management. But I like to scalp gold a lot. Scalping gold is nice because gold moves, as you may know, it moves way more than any other forex pair or other trading asset. And so scalping is effective because you can get a few trades, a few wins, and you add up for a big position, right? So try scalping in and out, moderate volume. Okay, guys, those were the 2 winners for the 2-hour live private course. I'll get in touch with you guys. I'll get in touch with you, and I hope you enjoy this. I hope you enjoy this webinar. I'll see you when I see you next time. Stay tuned for the VIP. Stay for more giveaways. Stay tuned for the exclusive content. Take care. I wish you immense success. Believe in yourself. Follow your intuition. You are powerful. You are patient. You are disciplined. You are consistent.